Putting money in a parking meter is supposed to help make Denver's streets safer, but some of that money has been going to other things, and now some city council members are proposing changes. A major change for Colorado gun buyers starts this weekend. Why gun shops say customers are rushing to buy before the deadline.
Also coming up here at 6 o'clock, the chance to get some free mulch. Free mulch, where you can pick some up tomorrow.
Freeze for me. I like it. Storms hit in several parts of Colorado yesterday. These photos were sent in from Nikki Mason near White Ranch Park last night. You can see there was quite a bit of lightning in the area last night. Thanks for joining us. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Drew Carney. I heard the thunder last night. Didn't bother to open up the drapes and watch the lightning show, but I did hear the thunder last night while falling asleep. Katie is in the 9 News backyard here talking about more storms possible later this afternoon.
Good morning. Yes, and more widespread storm activity is what we're bracing for. It's a little muggy, it's a little humid out here. We have that monsoonal moisture streaming into the state, and that will create more instability. So for this afternoon, embrace the rain, but also just make sure you're staying safe. Abundant lightning, gusty winds, and brief heavy downpours, all a possibility as storms form out west and spread east across the plains. It's dry, partly cloudy this morning. Temperatures not nearly as hot. We were sitting around 80 degrees this time yesterday, nearing some of those record minimum temperatures, but this morning relative humidity on the higher side with those percentages. And then for today, your weather headlines, temperatures will stay in the low 90s, so not as hot as the past several. The heat will return by the weekend, but the biggest weather headline today, we have some rain chances by 1 o'clock this afternoon, indicated there by the shades of orange and yellow, some of those heavier rainfall totals that we could be seeing anywhere between 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain. And across the eastern plains, a line from Akron, Holyoke, Burlington, with the potentials for seeing a brief rain shower and storm through at least 10 o'clock tonight. So the high is gradually drifting off to our east. We're introducing more of that monsoon moisture. And then for today statewide, as we get into about 2 p.m., we'll talk more about those rain totals that we're anticipating, but flood watches have been posted east of I-25 and over the Aspen Acres burn scar with some good wet weather potentials through this evening. We'll talk more about just how much rain we're anticipating. It'll be a similar weather pattern for tomorrow. But Brianna, how are things looking on the roads right now?
Yeah, happy Tuesday, everyone. 6:01 is your time. A live look of 270 and Vasquez. So this is really the only stretch that I am starting to see that morning rush hour start to pick up along 270 between I-25 and I-70. So if you're near York, Vasquez, and Quebec, come take a look at your screen because this is what it's going to look like for that morning drive. If you want to avoid this altogether, head southbound along I-25 and then eastbound along I-70. Let's get to your drive time. 6th Avenue, leaving the Lakewood area, heading eastbound towards I-25. Only about a 7 to 8 minute drive, not looking bad at all. And then I-25, both directions from downtown to the tech center. 12 minutes if you're heading south, 11 if you're heading north.
Brianna, thank you. Right now, Aurora police are asking for anybody with information about a hit and run to come forward. A bicyclist was found dead on the side of the road a couple miles east of E470. Aurora police say a Good Samaritan noticed the bicyclist and called it in. Officers don't have a description of the car at this time, so if you know anything or if you were in that area around 9:30 yesterday morning, Aurora police would like to hear from you. The largest wildfire in the state remains the Aspen Acres fire in southern Colorado. The flames have burned nearly 102,000 acres across Pueblo and Custer counties. Crews have it 66% contained. The number of buildings lost is believed to be around 850, with more than 300 of those homes. On Friday, the Pueblo County Sheriff's Office announced the Pueblo County Evacuation Center is now closed, but officials say the center will remain on standby in case it needs to reopen.
There are no longer evacuation orders in place for the Penley fire. That's the one west of Sedalia. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office says there's only what they're calling a warning zone. The fire started on Sunday. It's burned about 3 acres. As of this morning, it's 75% contained.
The owner of a nightclub in Denver where a deadly shooting happened last week says he will not reopen the business. One person was killed and 8 others injured in the shooting at Ultra Lounge East on East Hampton Avenue last Monday. Police say it started with a confrontation between 2 groups that escalated outside of the club. In the days following the shooting, the city of Denver pulled the club's licenses, accusing it of a list of violations. Yesterday, owner Deontay Wilkins said that he would not try to reopen the club.
It's a hard topic because this has been going on in our community for a long time. This isn't the first situation, and unfortunately it probably won't be the last. But I think if we can take these steps to try to offer whatever we can as a community to hopefully stop these type of things from happening, I think that's the benefits of today's conversation.
At this point, police have not made any arrests in the shooting.
A new state law that goes into effect this Saturday will place new restrictions on buying many semi-automatic rifles. The law was actually passed last year, but again, it goes into effect this weekend. It applies to most semi-automatic rifles, shotguns, and pistols, specifically ones with detachable magazines. Anyone buying one of those guns will need to apply through the state's firearms safety system, which went live just last week. The application will be processed by a local sheriff's office who will either grant or deny eligibility. Eligible buyers will then need to enroll in a safety course through Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Anyone who's already completed a state-approved hunter education course can take a shorter 4-hour safety course, but if not, there's a longer 12-hour version.
Money that was earmarked to help make Denver streets safer is instead being used to fix the city's parking ticket system. Now, members of Denver City Council are working to make sure this can't happen in the future. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch joins us live in Denver with the proposed changes. Good morning.
Good morning, Corey. 3 council members are proposing an amendment that would stop transfers out of this fund. They also want to see unspent balances roll over every year, as well as DOTI to present its planned spendings to an advisory board. When parking meters went up $1 to $2 back in 2021, the extra dollar went into a special revenue fund. That fund paid for things like safer bike lanes and crosswalks. But this year, more than $8 million of the $15 million from the fund was allocated to parking enforcement and operations. Hundreds of thousands of dollars have been redirected out of this fund to rebuild Denver's online parking ticket dispute. The system was dismantled in budget cuts from last year. The Denver Streets Partnership says pedestrian and biker safety shouldn't be compromised as a result.
When the city was struggling with budget shortfalls, they took away the parking ticket appeal system from the courts and gave it to the Department of Transportation and said, you figure out how to manage this.
Since the online system went away, people have had to come to the city and county building to schedule a court hearing. Then they would return months later and argue their case in front of a judge. 9 News' Steve on your side found that between October of last year to this month, 4,200 final hearings have been scheduled, and that's just compared to 88 from the year before. Live in Denver, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
All right, thanks, Janelle. Coming up this November, Denver voters will decide whether to renew the city's long-standing franchise agreement with Xcel Energy. The current franchise agreement expires at the end of this year. The agreement lets Xcel use the city right away for utility infrastructure and outlines how they maintain equipment like streetlights and traffic signals. The city estimates that the agreement has saved billions in construction costs over the last 20 years. Now, changes were discussed last year, but there was also a lot of pushback from critics. Some of the new guidelines added to this new agreement include making Xcel undergo regular independent audits and also paying into some customer affordability programs. The deadline to refer the agreement to November's ballot is coming up next Monday.
Work is now underway on a new large-scale mural at the Denver pavilions. Crews removed the existing vinyl display from the walls along 15th Street to prepare for a mural designed by artist Olive Moya. We're told it's being funded through revenue generated by things like parking and commercial leases. It's expected to be completed early next month.
RTD bracing for a packed downtown Denver because of 2 big concerts happening tonight. Thousands of fans expected to fill downtown because of the AC/DC concert that's happening over at Mile High and the Megan Maroney concert taking place at Ball Arena. RTD is adding some rail cars to regularly scheduled service on the C, E, W, and the N lines, all to handle those big crowds. Both venues sit near several bus stops and rail stations. RTD is also deploying more transit police at those rail stations.
You can pick up free mulch in La Plata County tomorrow. The county will offer free wood mulch from 8 to 4 at the Bayfield Convenience Center. Heavy equipment operators will load trucks and trailers, and the transfer station will remain open during the event. Drivers are asked to stay in their cars while loading. Officials want to remind residents, though, to store mulch at least 10 feet from their home, spread it out within 24 hours, and avoid large piles to reduce the risk of fire.